Hey guys, welcome to 6 Minutes for Monday, September 5th. I'm Jason Fulmore, SC Wrestle, and today we are recapping Super 32, Georgia Super 32 early entry tournament that was held this past weekend up at Ola. I know everybody's probably more interested in the highlights than a rundown of what happened and all those sorts of things. Maybe I'm wrong, and actually I'd really like to know from everyone whether doing a recap of maybe the big tournament of the weekend is kind of the way to go, or different tournaments during the weekend. I'm trying to figure this out heading into the season. But I'm hoping to have the highlight video up tomorrow on Tuesday. And we're going to do a recap today, and then actually gear up for do a preview for the Florida Super 32 early entry tournament and the North Carolina Super 32 early entry tournament. I think those will drop on Wednesday. I don't know if there's any interviews set to air this week, but check back for that information. And like I said, it's actually really helpful to receive some feedback of whether me talking for 15 minutes or 10 minutes makes sense, or whether you just kind of bypass this because you already know the results or the results that you care about. Anyway, so let's jump into it. First, shout out to Cliff Rutwell and Compound and all that crew who put it on. I think we were out of there by 6 o'clock on Saturday, which was outstanding. There were some great matchups. As always happens with every early entry tournament, Super 32, or even Grappler Fall Classic, those sorts of things. There are people who register and then aren't there for one reason or another. And yeah, we expect to see that happen again this past weekend, but still some fantastic matchups that hopefully I'll be able to touch a little bit on in this short time that I'm going to do this in. Also, want to make sure that I make you guys aware, Amber Cloy, Dan Ward, Fat and Scrappy's Lucas Da Silva, as well as me, we were all there taking pictures, doing different things. I'm hoping to have a link to each of their galleries on the website, so you guys can check that out. Go find any pictures that you want. I'll post a bunch as well as the highlight video tomorrow. But we take a ton of pictures. I mean, a ton of pictures, and most of them don't end up being posted on Instagram or anything like that. So go download any that you might want. All right. So let's jump into this. Things to know from Georgia's Super 32 early entry tournament for 98 pounds. DJ Clark from Georgia beat Christopher Swan, Gabe Swan, 6-3 in the finals. Clark had 2 falls and that 6-3 win to take the 98-pound title. The younger Simon, I think it's the younger Simon, Cayenne Simon of Alabama, actually faced the top seed Swan in the opening round, lost 8-7, and then fought his way all the way back through to take third. At 106 pounds, Tony Mills looked fantastic, wrestled great, and wrestled all the way to the finals in a very deep weight class. Really took care of business without many challenges. But in the finals, he ran into Alex Rosas from Louisiana, and that ended up being, quite an interesting final. If you get a chance to go back and watch it, it came down to sudden victory. Mills was in on shots. Rosas would fight those shots off, and eventually Mills was able to get the takedown in the end to take the title. But yeah, it was a good final. Preston White of South Carolina beat Nick Owens of Georgia to take third. Rosas was the number 6 seed. He did a great job of beating Doherty and Nick Finella of Pennsylvania to make the finals. And both White and Owens, they both were unseeded in a deep 106-pound weight class, and they both made the finals. All right, let's jump over to 113. Our 113, Tennessee's Mason Jacob looked fantastic. Incoming freshman for Dobbins Bennett beat another incoming freshman. I believe Bentley Sly in North Carolina is also an incoming freshman in a great weight class. 113 was, again, another really deep weight. Mason Jacob took out the number 1 seed, Mason Moody, in the round of 32. Batone beat the number 3 seed, Johannes, in the round of 16. And Sly beat the number 2 seed, Thomas Gear, who ended up 4th in the round of 16 as well. So, the seeds kind of got blown up. Jacob, Sly, and Batone, all 3 of the top 3 at 113, none of them were seeded. And, if you missed watching, I don't know Heise's first name, from Ohio, he and Jacob went back and forth in, I think, a semifinal. It was fantastic. And Alan Calderon from Georgia also lost, and then lost in the Consi semis, I think to Gear, but I could be wrong. It was a deep weight with freshman Mason Jacob coming out on top for the top spot at 113. Jumping down to 120, we might have seen probably our most dominant performance of Saturday, and it came by Cooper Hilton. He outscored all of his opponents 62-6 in his 5 matches, including a fall of Kieran McCormick of Georgia in the finals. Tanner Spalding, I think he's a move-in from Ohio to Woodward Academy in Georgia, took 3rd over Yannick Simon of Alabama. McCormick, Spalding, and Simon were all unseeded at 120. But boy, top seed Cooper Hilton, he showed out and wrestled extremely well. Now, you may notice at this point in time, Tennessee put back-to-back champs at 113 and 120 after back-to-back champs by Georgia at 98-106. Georgia had the lion's share of the wrestlers at the tournament, and probably not surprising, they had the most champs with 9. But Tennessee wrestled extremely well. Zeke Moisey brought it down, a crew from Lakeway Christian, Sean Russell and Cody Russell at Minions, Coach Harrison from over at the Wave Wrestling Club, over by Christian Brothers and that sort of thing, and over in Memphis. There was a lot of kids from Tennessee and a lot of really good wrestling by the Tennessee crew. I think they ended up with 3 champs. So, and we'll talk about some of the other states here in just a minute, but I want to make sure I brought that in. All right, so let's jump now to 126. 126, we saw Colin Mullins, who surprisingly, in my opinion, was unseeded. He beat top seed Maddox MacArthur, also from Georgia, in the finals 7-0. Colin and Maddox are both 7A, so is that a potential 126-pound final here in Georgia in 7A? I don't know, but certainly it was a fantastic run by Colin to take this top spot at 126. John Stewart of Tennessee, he lost in the round of 16 and then was impressive, winning 6 in a row on his way back to take 3rd over fellow Tennessean Spencer Reed with 5-0 decision at 126 for 3rd. At 132, we get our first out-of-stater, out of the Southeast. Sorry, not out-of-stater, but out of the Southeast champ with Joseph Sandifer of Ohio. Sandifer beat Josh Sanders of Georgia 6-0 in the finals. Sandifer was also unseeded. So, again, we see an unseeded Colin Mullins. We see an unseeded Mason Jacob. Unseeded Sandifer down the 4 seed Sanders in the finals. Top seed Gumlick was 4th. Strickland from Alabama beat Gumlick for 3rd and 4th. And his only loss, he was the number 6 seed, came to Sandifer 1-0 in the semifinals at 132. So Ohio was, or Sandifer was the only one from, I think, Ohio and Pennsylvania and Colorado and some of the states that are outside of the Southeast to claim a title. Although we did see a few others take top 4 from one of those states. So let's jump now to 138. And at 138, you can see we've got Isaiah Poe from Alabama in what was a super good weight class, 138 pounds. He was super impressive. In fact, all 3 of the people who he shared the podium with, although there was no podium, but the top 4 with, he beat on his way to the title. He beat Stiffler 9-3. He beat Connor Kimbrough 15-4. And he beat Eli Carr from Pennsylvania 9-2. Interestingly, Stifler didn't even give up a point until that final against Isaiah Poe, and it was an impressive run by Isaiah Poe, the number 2 seed, to take the top spot over the number 1 seed Blue Stifler. At 145, we had another fantastic weight. Might have been the deepest weight of the tournament. I'd really, again, it's hard to tell, but we're talking about some really, really deep weight classes. Tyler McKnight was the 5 seed. He came from the number 5 seed to beat Emil Nekula of Georgia, the number 3 seed, and wrestled extremely well until that final against Nekula. He really pretty much handled his side of the bracket and took care of business on the top side. I don't know that any of the matches were super close. Deshaun Poe, Isaiah Poe's little brother, he beat Logan Fight twice. Logan is from North Carolina, the two of them battled back and forth. I think Georgia Grappler actually made a notation of this, that maybe they showed the match or part of the match, and what was a really good match, 5-2 and 3-0, in a real battle between two very, very good 145-pounders. Let's jump to 152. And actually, before we jump to 152 and talk about Dominic Bambinelli, let's jump to Alabama and a shout-out to Stronghold. Stronghold, I think, took the overall team title, quote-unquote, but certainly the run of Isaiah Poe and Deshaun Poe to third, and they also had another champ in there as well, and you'll hear about Will Conlon here in a little bit. Alabama actually had 2 champs, but more importantly for Alabama, they had a lot of kids in the top 4 all the way through the brackets. So it was a pretty impressive run by the state of Alabama and Team Stronghold, who took first. I'm not sure who took second and third. I know Roundtree walked away with a trophy, and Level Up also walked away with a trophy as well, but and I'm not sure who was second and who was third out of those, and I don't know if there was another team that was awarded as well, but a good run by the Alabama kids. All right, jumping to 152, Dominic Bambinelli. If Cooper Hilton wasn't the most impressive champion at the tournament, I think the most impressive tournament was on this slide. Dominic Bambinelli, top seed, outscored his opponents by a ton. He had 1 fall and 4 tech falls. Wrestled extremely well. You also see down Christopher Mance from Georgia at 160. He outscored his opponents 45-4, and he was also the top seed. So if it wasn't Cooper Hilton, it was probably one of those two as the most impressive wrestler of the weekend. Boston McDermott was unseeded and wrestled fantastic, beating Andrew Sullivan and Christian Griggs from Alabama, the number 2 and number 3 seed, to make the finals at 152 opposite Bambinelli. Wills Bronson from Tennessee, one of the kids from way out west in Tennessee, also was super impressive. He was unseeded, just like McDermott, and beat both Lobdell and Sykes to make the finals at 160. So really, really good runs. Let's jump to 170. And 170 was one of my favorite weights to watch because I thought the level of wrestling and competition was super close. Logan Heckert didn't give a point the entire tournament. Had 2 falls in 4 matches. It was just 4 matches compared to some of the other weight classes, but he was super impressive. He beat Aiden McKnight 6-0. But he had some really good, I wouldn't say close, but very good, tight, good wrestling. Was very stingy with giving up any points, whether that was an escape or anything else. He would battle and battle and battle. Ended up taking first. Aiden Knight was second. Zachary McKnight from Georgia was third, and he beat Carson Freeman from Alabama twice to take third at 170 in a really good weight class. Didn't have a ton of numbers, but a really, really good weight class. At 182, Zion Smith, the number 1 seed, again, looked impressive. Outscored his opponents 28-5 with 2 falls in 4 matches. Jarrell Baskins of Georgia was second. Henry Tate, Tennessee was third. And Gasimov from South Carolina was fourth. Both Gasimov and Tate were unseeded at the weight. All right, and our last 3 weights. 195, that other Alabama champion, Will Conlon, looked super impressive. Top seed, down the number 6 seed, Jackson Calderaro. I'm not sure if that's how you say his name, from Louisiana, 14-6. Caleb Johnstone from Alabama was third over Christian Preston, again from Alabama, who was fourth. 220, Anthony Lowe wrestled fantastic. He beat Trey Butler 1-0. He beat Alabama, I think, state champ Cole Carter in the semis, and then he beat the number 1 seed and returning state champ Gavin Proffitt 7-5 in the finals to take the 220-pound title. Again, another really impressive run. It could be that both Proffitt and Lowe are both in 6A. That might again be a preview of what we might see later in the season. But I'm not. I don't know if McIntosh is 6A or not, if they've moved up or not. So keep that in mind. Kyle Oliveira from Alabama beat Ryan Miller from Georgia to take third. At 285, Aaron Garcia from Georgia beat Bradley Wilburn from Alabama. Garcia, who was the 3 seed, beat Quadaris Wilson 3-2. And then the number 5 seed Wilburn to take the title at 285. So, ton of action. That is a quick recap if you are interested in the brackets and who wrestled well. There are a lot of people that wrestled really, really well, but didn't make the top 4. That's how deep the tournament was. And yeah, there was some excellent wrestling going on. So make sure, a reminder, check back to either the website. I'll try to put it below into the comment or into the description. Where you can find links to all the pictures, the highlight video, which will come out tomorrow, and so on and so forth. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and check back tomorrow and see all the highlights.